The Bayou strikes again as LSU loves playing games at 1 a.m. in the morning and walking them sons of bitches off. And we're here for it. We are live. Welcome in, everybody. We're not live 3 minutes into the show. There's 982 of you that are currently in here. I love that. That's how you know that a place is special when something happens at 1:30 in the morning, if we're just being honest, and you're here. We got a lot of baseball to talk about, but this is how we're going to start it off. That is how Omaha teams respond after what happened last weekend. Yes, we're going to get into Kate Anderson. Already made some texts. I don't think that they know, quite honestly, what's going on there. You found a way to win tonight. And great teams that find themselves playing baseball in June find ways to do stuff like this. Oh, by the way, against a team that's in the top 10 yet again. Listen, man, that's what you call doing. That is what you call doing elite shit in elite moments when your best is needed. Like, we won't even remotely talk about what we did on Thursday. What was the first thing that came out of my cotton-picking mouth on Thursday? Make the right baseball play. I know Ethan Fry had the walk-off, and he'll have the magic moment, and that moment will live in infamy, as it should for game one. The pitch before, the two pitches before, I should say, when Danny Dickinson grounded a ball to first base after a wild pitch and Jones advances, you make the right baseball play to get that runner to the third. It doesn't even happen what Ethan Fry does. That is what elite teams do. We will get to Kate Anderson. I know a lot of you are probably somewhat, maybe moderately nervous, but he does come back in the dugout. So we'll see. All right, a couple of programming notes before we do get into this show here tonight. Every post-game show, every single one of them is brought to you by our good friends over at betonline.ag. Guys, you can use that promo code BELIEVE50. That's BELIEVE50, BLEAV 50. You'll receive a 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag, where the game starts. And our good friends over at Service Hawk Digital Media, with the right leads, smart systems, and real growth, get a marketing system that works for you today. Go over to servicehawk.io. That's servicehawk.io today to be able to find that smart system. And our good friends over at Grand Slam Heating and Air. Guys, summer is fast approaching. You know how much it's been raining, how hot it's about to get down here in the Bayou, from Baton Rouge all the way to the North Shore. Get Grand Slam Air, Grand Slam Heating and Air. GrandSlamHeatingandAir.com is where you can find them today. Let them know that your good friend Blake Ruffino over at AYS sent you on by. Before we get to the game, we got a couple of super chats that are already flying off in here. Peyton Gates with a $5 super chat says, and to think people were complaining about Ethan Fry starting, let's effing go. Also, I think Chris is turning into a Tiger fan. If you're talking about our good friend Chris Phillips, I would assume, I haven't seen. Chris, if you're in the chat, let the people know. I'm assuming he's in here somewhere. But, yeah, he said that he was going to turn into an LSU fan tonight. That's what people in the chat, his chat in his show earlier today was saying. Well, he's going to have to sacrifice his left wrist for Kate Anderson. You can't be a Tiger fan and not give at least one body part to a superstar. But, yes, our good friend Chris is a great fan of LSU. In reference to Ethan Fry, Peyton's super chat. Guys, last weekend, he crushed. This weekend, he's already doing great against left-handed pitching. You see a lefty, he's got to come in at bar minimum. Bar minimum. I mean, he damn near won you the game tonight, literally, single-handedly. So, yeah, you got to bring him in there. $10 super chat from Frank says, I felt an unusual calmness coming into the series. For some reason, I got the feeling we were sweeping Arkansas, but I wouldn't be surprised if the series goes the other way. I never come in. Well, first off, if you sweep them, my goodness, I don't think that you're doing that. Just being honest, I'm not doing that, Frank. But it goes down to what we talked about pretty much all week. We did the last post game. We started Monday's show off by saying, fire Jay Johnson. Isn't that the sentiment, right? Like there's no way you can beat Arkansas. It's, Arkansas had lost 3 of the last 4 series. Texas lost again tonight. They have a lot of injuries. I don't think people put the context. I really don't think people put the context into it. And look, you've needed some Bayou voodoo to get some wins here and to get some things. But look, man, fuck. I mean, you did it. You did exactly what you needed to do. Both of you played in the same conditions. By the way, LSU had to play a doubleheader last week. I don't want to hear about excuses from anybody from Arkansas. Everybody's got it going through these issues. I don't really want to hear that shit. Just so LSU's got 2 breaks at home where a game starts late. Who gives a shit? They're both in the same element. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that at all. Not at all. Not at all. There he is. There he is. Our good friend Chris Phillips over at SEC Unfiltered. Yeah, I knew he'd be in here. Great teams find a way to win. We'll find out more about Cade Anderson as the day goes on. He did come back to – here's what we know at the current moment before we get rolling. So Cade Anderson left the game in the 6th inning. Chase Shores replaced him after, I guess, maybe some wrist, forearm tightness. I'm not letting Cade Anderson, no matter what happens, pitch next weekend. Figure it out. Against South Carolina, figure it out. That's neither here nor there. He did come back to the dugout. He did have a Band-Aid on his forearm as if to, like, is he dehydrated? Like, did he get an IV? I don't know. I don't know the situation. I mean, his last warm-up pitch was 92, and then he came to the dugout, and you could read his lips if you're watching. He says something to the effect to Gavin Guidry, who's also injured, saying, I just couldn't grip the ball. And he's looking at his fingers. I mean, we'll see what happens there. Here's the take that I'm going to have it for it right now. I'm not going to overreact or how about not even say overreact? I'm not going to react to the situation until I know more. There's especially when it comes to LSU baseball, I feel like all we do is some of you over fucking react, but I'm not going to do that. Let's find out what happened. Jay will talk to the media tonight after the game's over, but he'll talk to the media tonight and we'll figure out what's happening. I will say this. Clearly, if you lose them, you're in trouble. Right? Like, I mean, you will be in trouble if your Friday night guy's not there. I'm going to stay positive. Look, man, some bangs and bruises happen. I'm just going to tell you right now, I don't give a fuck what's going on with him. I'm not throwing him next weekend. Miss me with that. Miss me with that chaos. South Carolina, you should be able to beat them without it. Now, They responded to Auburn today a little bit, I guess you can say. I get it. Figure it out. Let Chase Shores go on Friday night for all I give a Rudy Poo. Let him rest. I mean, you've gone over him with a couple of 100 pitches and the last 6 starts. Let it go. Let it go. Now, I know that some of you be like, well, that's on Jay. I mean, he made him throw 135 pitches. I mean, guys, he still, if he had something wrong with his elbow severely, this is what I would think. I don't think he could throw a ball 92 miles an hour, humbly, if it was a UCL problem. Doesn't mean that if something's torn, like if a ligament's torn, do y'all remember when Burrow tore the ligament in his thumb and his wrist? Like, he tried to throw the football and he was in agonizing pain. Here's my opinion from a non-doctor. My non-doctor, no medical field experience tells me that if something was really bad, he wouldn't have warmed up and thrown 2 more pitches. Let's see what happens. We'll react when the time is right, but it is a very, very tough situation to be in. You don't listen. You just had a walk-off game. I know that you probably don't want to talk about it, but guys, it's the lead up of this. It's a lead into what we need to talk about tonight. Now, I see this, and I just want to bring it up. Doug No says the Band-Aid is for an injection. My wife is a pain doctor nurse. It's a swelling nerve, maybe in the neck. Swelling goes down. No, maybe no issue. Non-issue. Look, I'm not going to play. Doug, y'all go based off what Doug says. I don't know there. He clearly came in with a Band-Aid in a very awkward spot on his arm, and the only thing I thought was IV. All of you in the medical field out there will know better than me. Let's just see and monitor this and move on from there. If you do see something, all right, here it is. Breaking. Boy, we just dodged a bullet. Jay Johnson said Cade Anderson suffered a cramp in his wrist. Added that athletic trainer Isaac Trujillo checked him out and he had no concerns. Boy, what a massive break. Holy shit, what a massive break. I want to moan so bad. Oh, God, sweet Jesus. Whew. I mean, I don't think the reason I said IV, because there's no way he's coming back in the dugout if it's a nerve issue. No way. He's not throwing the ball 92 miles an hour if it's ever a nerve issue. Jay Johnson says he suffered a cramp. Thank you, sweet Bayou Jesus up above. This night just got so much better. Everybody moan with me. Oh, sweet Jesus. Thank you, God. Oh. Get that boy some crawfish. Salt that and some bitches up, right? You know what happens when you cramp. You need some crawfish, and you need to put a whole bunch of salt. Cajun Tiger tailgating. Y'all need to give him at least 45 pounds. 45 pounds of crawfish, boiled, all to himself. Get the sausage in that bitch, too. Moan for Cade Anderson. Oh, God. You could tell it's 2 a.m. in the morning. Let's get to it. That is a massive break, man. Whew. I know we hadn't gotten to the game, but oh, God, it's so great. Whew. What a relief. Now we can talk about the game in peace. Let's get to it. Everybody hit the like and share. There's 1,012 of you in here. Hit that like and share. To start off the game, speaking of Cade Anderson, he gives up a double down the left field line. But, man, how clutch he was in big spots throughout the day. I know that he gave up a couple of home runs. The first guy to the plate, Davalon, guys, he is one of the hardest hitting dudes in the SEC for a leadoff guy. He's hitting 330 against SEC pitching. He gets to a 1-2 count. He rifles one down the left field line, third base, left field line, and he gets a double. But against arguably the biggest power bat in the SEC, in Aloy, he gets a strikeout to him. He gets a ground out to himself that gets reviewed and gets overturned. So you get 2 outs there. The younger brother, Aloy, gets walked, and then he strikes out Cozell, gets 2 Ks in the inning. Man, what a massive spot to get you out of. And we're just going to say W. Aloy and K. Aloy here tonight. Bottom of the first, Carriel strikes out, Jones strikes out, and Dickinson flies out to second base, which is a great play by Cozell, speaking of him. At that point, when Curiel had struck out, look, Derek Curiel's not seeing left-handed pitching worth a damn. I mean, he's just not. when he struck out there over last weekend and tonight, you had faced 4 straight starting pitchers that were lefties. Guys, at that strikeout point, he had struck out 5 times, and he was 1 for 13. Look, he is a freshman. He will get better against lefties. He will figure them more out, but right now he is not seeing them. I don't think when you see another lefty that you can throw Derek Carriel at that leadoff spot. I'm just being honest. I don't know who you put there, but guys, quite frankly, we talked about this on Thursday. He's hitting close to 200 and now going to be very close to 250 points lower against left-handed pitching than he is right-handed pitching. And guys, he's hitting 360 against right-handed pitching, or 380, whatever it was that we talked about on Thursday. Regardless of what that is, it's a massive drop-off for him. He's hitting right around 150 against left-handed pitching. It's not been good all year. Guys, it's okay to move Derek Carriel out of that leadoff spot. I understand Jay's trying to give him confidence and trying to hope that the approach is to get Root to throw a lot of pitches and get him out of there. And once you get into that bullpen, you're going to see a lot of right-handed arms. Now, I understand that you got to do this more for just what you're going to see in the start. It's how you're going to finish, too. That's got to be a big deal. If you do keep him in that leadoff spot, you're just going to have to be okay with him not seeing left-handed pitching enough and not good at all right now. He did put some balls in play, but guys, you're getting to a track here over the last weekend and then tonight where he's just not seeing it, and it's okay. Look, that is okay. Guys, I expect true freshmen, for what it's worth, when they see guys that are from the left-handed side and you're a pure left-handed hitter, I expect him to go through those struggles. And guys, guess what he is? Guess what? He's human for once. Now, I remember another outfielder with the initials DC who, as a freshman, also struggled with left-handed pitching. He hit from the right side, but it doesn't matter. I fully expect that. I'm glad he hit in the leadoff spot tonight because he came up with a massive base hit in that leadoff spot. So as much as I say that, when you start seeing him there, maybe you shouldn't, then all of a sudden later in the game against a right-handed pitcher gets a two RBI single, which Milam scores on. Just wanted to point that out, okay? Just wanted to point out the simple fact that going into that at-bat after striking out, he was 1 for 13. It's not great at all. So it is what it is. Anderson comes back out in the top of the second, gets Iredale, who, by the way, Iredale is a dude. I mean, all of these guys are dudes. Literally the last, outside of Maxwell, who had missed some time, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to add Maxwell into there because I think he'd had double-digit home runs. He's at 9 if he would have not gotten hurt throughout the season. You would have 5 straight guys at the plate that Cade Anderson had seen where the guys that he's facing has double-digit home runs. He gets 3 of the 4 to strike out. In the second, he gets his 3rd strikeout on Iredale, and Rubinet also down on K's. Helfrich gets a ground ball single right back up the middle, but he get Thomas to strike out in the 9 hole. Really efficient stuff. Bottom of the second, Ethan Fry comes up and gets a line drive double in the left field and down the left field line. Guys, as much as we just talked about Derek Carriel struggling against left-handed pitching, Ethan Fry is found it. He is found it, man. He is demolishing left-handed pitching. He is seeing it the best on the team right now. And quite frankly, you can't take him out even when you go to a righty. You gotta let him. You gotta let him prove that he can only hit left-handed pitching at this point because he is demolishing the baseball. Good for Ethan Fry. Look, man, it's kind of the K Beloso track in some similar ways. Ethan Fry's just doing it a little bit better. Guy who struggled, had some weak stuff early, career kind of hit and miss for what it's worth, and now he's demolishing the baseball. Good on the big fella. But he gets a line drive down the left field. And man, listen, when you have a runner on second, a lot what happened in the top of the first against Cade, against these good pitchers, man, they're going to lock in and really focus. Now you get a bunt by Josh Pearson that moves the runner over to third. Luis Hernandez gets hit by a pitch, and then the bunt by Michael Braswell where Root fields his position and tags out Ethan Fry at home. Guys, for whatever it's worth, good, bad, or indifferent, you're going to be very aggressive. I know a lot of you think that the sack bunt safety squeeze scenario there from the Braswell bunt is not being aggressive. Guys, I think it's the most aggressive thing that Jake can do in that situation. You're going to be aggressive on the base paths, not necessarily from a stealing aspect. Guys, last weekend, Josh Jordan was rounding that hoe more than a pinwheel when you're talking about what's that TV show our meemaws watch? Wheel of Fortune. You're going to keep going around and round and round. My man's going to be aggressive on the base paths. I think that plays aggressive. I got to be honest, Zach Root made a hell of a play. He made a hell of a play. And you know what? Tip of the cap to him, man. You put pressure on them. He made a play. Sounds great. Like, I don't know what else to say there. Great play by him. I love the call. Maybe the execution could have been a little bit better by Michael Braswell. You put the pressure on, and sometimes they're going to beat you. That is just a fact. I don't hate that shit. I know a lot of you hate that shit. I don't hate it because it felt like after the first inning that runs might really come at a premium. And guys, tonight runs did come at a premium. And you got to do everything you can to get them. I don't hate the call, man. I really don't. Do I hate some of the execution? Yeah, sure. But Root makes a fantastic play and gets the out. Swiping Ethan Fry right on the booty cheek and right down the crack, if we're being honest. No pause. Or pause if you do. Dude needs to be sponsored by Dude Wipes. But, I mean, great play. And you're unable to get the run there. Milan would hit into a fielder's choice. You put pressure on Arkansas in the beginning, and you're unable to respond. Cade Anderson comes back in the top of the third and gets the ground out, which was a spinning pirouette type of play by Danny Dickinson on a hard-hit ground ball to his left. Guys, Danny made multiple exceptional plays tonight in the field. Multiple exceptional plays. I put a star next to that one, a big asterisk next to it, because you're going back in the top of the lineup for Arkansas. You have a hard-hit ground ball to what could have gotten into right field, but Danny makes an exceptional play. He was also shaded in what was maybe a really good spot, because I don't know if he's not playing back and a little bit to the left that he goes over and is able to make the play the way that he did. Some of the stuff, like some of the plays that Stephen Milan made tonight, which, quite frankly, was what ended this inning. I thought that the shift kind of worked in your favor a little bit tonight when most of the times it hasn't. Aloy gets a bloop single into left field. The older brother gets a bloop single in the left field. The shortstop, Maxwell, then grounds out into a 5-6-3 double play. Guys, right into the shift perfectly on what you want to do. So you do go 1-2-3 there in the third with a critical double play on Maxwell. Coming into the third, this is when you would then get the run. You put pressure back on Arkansas again. Stanfield hits a line drive double into left field, and you get a runner on second base to start off an inning again like you did the last inning. And you had to do everything humanly possible to get the run in. You had a 1-3 by Curiel to get the runner Stanfield over to third, and then Jones hits an RBI bloop single into right field. We break the scoring tie, and things come in. Danny Dickinson ends the inning by hitting into a 6-4-3 double play. Guys, coming through in the clutch, I don't care if it's a bloop single. I don't care if it's a bomb. If you're coming through in the clutch like what Jared Jones did, not just in the third inning, but like he did in the 10th inning, guys, he's been clutch. When you've needed Jared Jones, when you've really, really needed him, I do feel like that he's come up big in a lot of big spots. You know, I think of the RBI single that he had against Bama. I think about the RBI double that he had against Oklahoma. I think about tonight. And then clearly I think about Tennessee. Because there have been a lot of big situations when you've needed a run that Jared Jones has been at the plate and he's gotten the big swing and hit for you. I don't care if it's a bloop. I don't care if he shit that thing out there. I don't care. I really don't care if he laid a mushroom turd out there. I don't care how he does it, but he did it. And he gets the run in. Did exactly what he needed to do. See the ball deep, hit it into right field. Perfect. Perfection. So you get the leadoff double and you get it in on the bloop single. I know you end the inning on the 6-4-3, but it is what it is. Top of the fourth, Cozell comes up and gets a home run into left field. Look, man, to Arkansas's credit, in a lot of these situations, every time that you got a run, they responded. Every single time they responded. They come back after you get the run in the third inning, and Cozell, who has double-digit home runs, blasts one. Dude is so good, man. They got a lot of really good players, and you were able to take them down tonight. But give them credit. I mean, every time that they came back up to the plate, they answered you. Now, you would have to answer them later in the game, but both teams tonight, LSU and Arkansas alike, it was the old Michael Jordan commercial, Gatorade commercial. Anything you can do, I can do better. And both teams battled their asses off for what might be a lock of being a regional top seed. Dude got a fastball, and he didn't miss it. One thing that you can say about Cade Anderson is if there is a flaw, Cade is going to give up the solo bomb. He will give up the solo bomb. And, guys, you're not going to keep these hitters down like that. Not in this league. Not with an aluminum bat. You're just not going to do it. At some point, you were going to give up home runs in this series. I'm glad they're single shots. But he responds, and that's all you can really ask. So you got a situation where you get a ground out to start off the fourth inning, you give up the home run, but in typical Cade Anderson fashion, he gets Iredale and Rubinet to strike out to get his 6th and 7th K. Got 6 times this year, Cade Anderson has gotten double-digit strikeouts. I don't know if you want me to sit here and harp on him giving up a solo bomb. Guys, through 4 innings, he's got 7 Ks. I mean, it's getting to a point with Cade. Sometimes he's going to give them up. At the same time, man, I'm just going to live with it, especially the single ones, because he's mowing people down so much. Does he need to work on sometimes when he's got the count in his favor to stop leaving the ball over the heart of the plate? Yes. I mean, guys, I just feel like I'm being nitpicky. He gave up a bomb. So what? So what? So what? I see this from Jeremy. He says it's not bad, but it is annoying. I mean, I get that, but I mean, he responds every time. It is aggravating, quote unquote, but guys, if you tell me through 3 innings, if you come to me in the beginning of the game and say, hey, Blake, Cade Anderson's going to have 7 Ks through 3 innings, through 4 innings, and he's going to give up 1 solo bomb, I'm taking it. Because you got to score a run to win anyway. You got to score a run you got to score runs to win anyway. Okay, fine. It is what it is. But he does get his 6th and 7th K in the 4th inning. So Arkansas responds and ties the game at the 1, and Ethan Fry comes up and gets a line drive home run into right center field. Dude's just hotter than a crack spoon, man. He's hotter than a crack spoon. I mean, it's just exceptional what his last 2 weekends have kind of been so far. Really and truthfully. I mean, he has been in a lot of big situations where he's been the backbone for you at the plate. Without him, I don't know where you would have been. But tonight, they tied up. Guys, first or second pitch, it wasn't a long AB. And I want to say, I can go back and look at it. Hold on. I don't even. Maybe. Let's go look. Let's go look for it. It won't take me long. Yeah, first pitch. First pitch, 93-mile-an-hour fastball in the outer third, and he takes it in the right center field line drive bomb. He on the first pitch takes it and sends it. Good for him. He unties the game. Impressive. Josh Pearson strikes out. Hernandez gets a ground ball to the shortstop, and Braswell strikes out as well. Anything you can do, I can do better, says Arkansas. The story of the game, man. Helfrich double into left field. Could have been an error on Braswell. Just a hard hit ball, and he can't make a play on it, man. They awarded him a double. Could he have made the play? Yeah, he could have made the play. And you wouldn't have gotten a run scored there. What did Ben say? The ball came up out over 102 miles an hour. I mean, just a ball that was hit hard. You give up a double. But a play could have been made there. Ground ball single from Thomas in the 5 and 6 hole, and you got runners on first and third. Devlin gets a sac fly RBI in the center field that ties the game back at 2. Then he gets a Lloyd to strike out and Maxwell to ground out to the shortstop behind the second base bag was Stephen Milam in the 5th, so the shift works there. Root comes back into the 5th and goes 1-2-3 against you, gets a strikeout to Milam, a ground out to third base. Then goes Stanfield and Curiel. The top of the 6th. So this is the inning that Cade Anderson comes out in. He comes out and Aloy hits a home run into left field. The younger brother, Kay Aloy, comes out and hits a home run into left field. Again, just another situation where he just gives up a home run. And the game is not tied at that point anymore. It's 3-2 Arkansas. And quite frankly, it sucks, but guys, it's a good team against a very big power hitter. Guys, the Aloy family for Arkansas has combined for 30 home runs this year. 30 of them sons of bitches. 30. I mean, like, that's ridiculous. That is utterly ridiculous. 30. But you do give up the bomb. But he does Anderson, Iredale to strike out looking. And then the very next Cozell and Iredale to strike out for his 9th and 10th strikeouts of the game. During the Iredale at bat, he gets the cramp in his wrist. So, look, you go 5 2/3 innings, you have 10 strikeouts. Guys, I know that he goes out because of an injury and a cramp. I'm glad it's just a cramp. Like, I'm glad that is what it is. He has another performance where he gets 10 strikeouts. Guys, he's had 22 strikeouts in the last 2 starts. And he's got 6 innings in one and 5 2/3 in another. That is elite shit. That is elite shit. So, glad to know. And now we don't have to really speculate a lot. It's a cramp in the wrist. No other evaluation needed, really. Sounds great. Sounds fantastic. We'll continue to monitor. I still don't know if I throw him next weekend. I know it's a cramp, but shit, let the kid rest if he needs to. But they're not going to do that now that we all know that it's just a cramp. So it comes out there. Chase Shores does come in for Cade Anderson. He gives up a line drive single into center field and then a line out to Michael Braswell, scorched to the third baseman. Braswell was there to make a play. In the bottom of the 6th, Jones strikes out. He'd actually have a base hit and then a 2 base hits and 3 Ks tonight, just how Jones is going to roll here. Danny Dickinson would hit a line drive single into left field, but Fry would hit a ground ball to second base, and so would Pearson, but to the first baseman, and you get out of the inning. Shores back in, and he gives up a line drive single into center field, and then later on we give up a wild pitch to get a runner to third base. Would be Thomas. Guys, the Chase Shores experiment, I mean, I don't think Shores looked bad at all tonight, but I do feel like that just every time, man, he's going to find a way to hurt himself. So he gives up the line drive to the 9-hole hitter, and then a wild pitch advances that runner to third base. In between that, you would have a ground out by Davalon to second baseman to get him over to second base. I should have brought that in there. So you give up a single, ground ball gets him to second base, and then a wild pitch advances the runner to third base where Alloy, because I can't say their names to save my life, but Alloy would hit an RBI, fielder's choice, to make the score 4-2. Look, I mean, it's efficient stuff at times and moments for Chase. Sometimes it's really bad because he gave up a run. Definitely wasn't his worst outing, but wasn't his best either. But he did some good stuff. He did some really good stuff. He ends the 7th by getting a fly out into center field. Let's go to the bottom of the 7th. Jimenez comes in for Root. I was surprised Root only had 90 pitches going into that 7th inning. I know that Arkansas prides themselves on the bullpen. I know that they've always prided themselves over having very big arms coming out of the bullpen. Considering how much LSU had struggled against left-handed pitching, and your guy only has 90 pitches, I got to be honest, guys, I was shocked. I was shocked. But they did. Jimenez would come in and strike out or get a strikeout from Luis Hernandez, and then some very special things started. Jake Brown would pitch hit for Michael Braswell and would get the infield single into the 5-hole. Jimenez would walk Milam and Stanfield to load the bases, and then a 2 RBI single into left field for Derek Curiel, who sees that right-handed pitcher yet again. Guys, he destroys right-handed pitching. It's just left-handed pitching. He does not pick up well. Milam would be out at the plate, but they would overturn it to tie the game at 4 apiece. Is Derek Curiel coming up with a massive, absolutely massive hit there in the 7th to tie the game. Guys, this kid's special, man. The kid is special. He has struggled against one thing. One thing has been his kryptonite so far this year. That is left-handed pitching. Guys, other than that, he's going to swing it with the best of them. I mean, guys, he is as clutch as it comes. He's done it multiple times. You know, the RBI single that he had against Tennessee. You talk about the 2 RBI single that he had tonight. Just the kid is so clutch, man. Comes up in massive spots. So he ties the game there in the 7th with a 2 RBI single. You can't. There's not enough adjectives in the English language to describe how awesome and clutch at moments that Derek Curiel has been throughout this season. Gackle comes in and strikes out Jones looking, and he gets Danny Dickinson to strike out on 3 pitches, which was absolutely nasty. Zach Cowan comes into the top of the 8th, and I know what all of you were thinking when he came in. Man, can he be better than his last 2 outings where he's really been touched? Well, yeah, he can. Because he gets a Lloyd to walk, he gets Cozell to hit into a 3-6-3 double play and gets a ground ball to Tanner Reeves and gets out of the inning 1-2-3. Gackle says, again, anything you can do, we can do better. He gets a ground ball from Fry to shortstop. He gets a K by Pearson and a fly out to the catcher on Hernandez. Cowan comes back in and gets a fly out, a strikeout, and a ground out. Thomas did have a line drive single right back up the middle in that inning, but no damage done. Gackle comes back and says, you know what? If you could give up a ground ball single, I'm going to give the same thing to Stephen Milam, but I'm going to get Reeves and Larson to strike out. I'm going to get Derek Curiel to fly out into center field. was about to say Danny Dickinson. It is 2 a.m. in the morning. If I mispronounce something, y'all going to have to deal with it. You go to the top of the 8th, and things got really hairy for Zach Cowan here, but boy, did he come up big. You had a ground ball single right back up the middle by Aloy. You had the sacrifice bunt from Diggs, 1-3 put out that would make it the 1 out. The other Aloy brother, the younger brother, would strike out, so you have 2 outs in the inning with a runner on second. You would intentionally walk Cozell, and then Cowan would hit Iredale in the wrist. Bases loaded, 2 outs, and Robinette is up. A guy that is hitting over or right at 300. It was 303, because I wrote this down. It was his batting average, at least per ESPN, was 303 coming into this at bat. So a guy that's definitely been putting the ball in play a lot. And Zach Cowan, in Zach Cowan fashion, when you needed him, he got the big K with the bases loaded. I thought it was a massive spot, man, and I think Cowan showed you why he is one of the better guys and better arms in the SEC. Because at some point, everybody is going to get and go through adversity. Zach Cowan, Kason Evans, Cade Anderson, Anthony Ianson, or anybody else in America for that point is going to get faced with adversity. It's how they overcome that adversity that is going to propel them to who they are and what you can be as a team. Getting out of that bases loaded jam with a strikeout is massive. And he did that on a check swing, too, on a changeup. Beautiful. Bottom of the 9th, Jared Jones, when you needed him most. Line drive single into left field, and a wild pitch would advance him to second base. Danny Dickinson would hit a ground ball to the first baseman on a fielder's choice, doing exactly what he needed to do. Now, listen. We ain't going to talk about Danny Dickinson tonight a lot. We're not going to talk about that at bat. But one thing is for sure. We talked about yesterday. We talked yesterday about this team has got to find a way to make the right baseball play to beat a team like Arkansas. Because the ground ball to the right side of the field with no outs and a runner on second is exactly how you draw it up. It quite frankly, guys, I know that it's not the magic moment. I know it's not the big hit. It's not the game winner. But, guys, it propelled Jared Jones to go to third. When you just make the right play and you do the right things, you will win baseball games. And that is a fact. That Danny Dickinson at bat is as critical as it comes. Critical. Because then it brings up big Ethan Fry, who gets a sac fly RBI to walk it off. Guys, 2 a.m., 1 a.m., baseball in the box. It's just the voodoo magic, baby. It's just the voodoo magic. So you win game 1, and guys, you got to just find a way to take one more. Guys, sell out to get one more. If you get one more, I feel very good that you're going to be a top 8 seed. Now, clearly, like, you can't get swept next weekend against South Carolina, because then that gets very troublesome. You got to beat them too, right? Like, I mean, let's not make any bones about it. I think that you can do that. But you're one win away, man, from being a top eight seed, in my opinion. With tonight's win, you got to 40 wins. Arkansas was the first team to get to 40 wins. You're not too far behind them, and you just beat them in game 1. So an outright stellar performance, beautiful performance by this team. They battled, man. They battled. They were up. Arkansas responded. They went up. Arkansas responded. Arkansas takes their first lead. You come back with a 2 RBI single to tie it. You had really good performances out of your bullpen with Shores, and Cowan locked it down. because you went up against a team that can clearly make it to Omaha. Clearly. They're a really, really good team. And you found a way to win. Tonight felt like a super regional in a lot of ways. Felt like I was watching a game against two teams that we'll see in the super regionals at minimum. You're a win away, man. Go take it to them in game 2, and let's end this thing. Let's end this puppy. Let's get to a couple comments. It is late at night. I am not intending on staying much longer because we'll see you tomorrow, but we'll get to a couple of them, and we're getting out of here. Beer on LSU or on YouTube says productive outs are keys to winning games at this level. LSU has gone that much better at least at the last month. It's 2 a.m. and I can't read. Garrison Parker says half his earned runs have been on home runs. I think it was like the 13th or 14th home run hit off him tonight. Yeah. Yeah. If he could be better there, he'd be great. He'd be great. All right. I'm calling this thing. Great game. Go take it to him for game 2. I see this. Todd says, I'm surprised that Arkansas didn't walk Fry. Me too. Me too. Dumb. Stupid. Stupid decision. Dumb decision. Shouldn't have done that. Dumb. Dumb, dumb, dumb. Dumb diddy dumb dumb. But they didn't. They didn't. And they could have tried to get a ground ball double play to get out of the inning. Dumb. All right, man. We're out of here. We'll see y'all tomorrow night for the post game. Y'all have a good morning. Peace.